Moin YouTube. It's a warm and sunny Sunday here in Hamburg, so that's perfect conditions for my first walking tour with a bit of historical background, guided by a local. There will be a couple more to come, so let's go for a walk. This one takes us from the Portuguese Quarter, the Portugiesenviertel, all the way to the historical neighborhood of Övelgönne along the River Elbe. Should be fun. The Portuguese Quarter, as we love it today, is known for lots of Portuguese restaurants and some cafes. But how did the Portuguese Quarter become the Portuguese Quarter? The first people from Portugal arrived in the 1500s, fleeing the Inquisition. But that's not what made the area what it is today. For that, we have to fast forward a few hundred years to the 1960s and 70s. Back then, many Portuguese workers came to Germany through the guest worker program, seeking and finding jobs at the harbor, the docks, the fish factories. This neighborhood was perfect. Rents were cheap, the commute was short. When many of those jobs began to disappear in the 1980s, families opened restaurants and cafes of their own. Gradually, but not slowly, the area transformed. Today, it's a vibrant, lively neighborhood, beloved by both longtime residents and the descendants of those who helped shape it. In the last decade, the Portuguese Quarter has changed again. Tourism, short-term rentals, and buzzy cafes bring a new vibe. Yet behind the bustle, the number of residents with Portuguese roots has been shrinking. Still, the spirit remains. While the footfall is driven by visitors, it's the family-run restaurants that ground the neighborhood in its roots. And they're still here, serving both locals and guests. It's a delicate balance, keeping the heritage alive even as the faces change. So that building you see in the background there, we will get to that in a later video. But today we will continue our walk along the Landungsbrücken area, which is the harbor docks area where passenger ships have been arriving and leaving for about 2 centuries now. Let's go. So the origins of what we today know as the Landungsbrücken go back to the year 1839. Back then, steamships were becoming a thing, and steamships need coal. Now, coal, as we know, can of course be a fire hazard, so to avoid burning the city, they built a wooden jetty that reached far into the river so coal could be unloaded there. However, the city of Hamburg and the port along with it kept expanding. By 1870, the old jetty just didn't do the job anymore, so 8 iron pontoons were added to a total length of 240 meters. That was enough to handle both steamliners and a lot of ferry traffic. So the Landungsbrücken were good enough for another couple of decades by now. But then again, around the turn of the century, port traffic simply exploded, and the old pontoons couldn't keep up with larger ships and more people. So between 1907 and 1909, architects Rabe and Wöhlecke built a whole new place. The new terminal was 420 meters long, it had 109 iron flotation boxes, It was made from tuffstein, which is volcanic rock, and green copper roofs. Its twin clock towers are a visual landmark to this day. The whole place was meant to feel like a ship station and part of the port itself. It reinforced Hamburg's image as the gateway to the world, and the docks are still floating today, a working piece of history. So these jetties we are walking on, they add up to almost 700 meters in length by now, and they float. The reason for that is the tidal swing in Hamburg averages around 3 meters 60 or 12 feet, and at times can even exceed 4 meters. The shops and booths on the right side, they have everything from fish rolls to harbor cruise tickets, and there's also a steakhouse, there's an Asian restaurant, and there are a couple of touristy shops as well, like souvenir shops. It's pretty much almost its own city docked by the river. And as you can probably guess, this place is busy like all day with commuters, with cafe goers, tourists, and just the hum of the ferries. So why is it this busy here? Well, you can see one of the reasons in the background that this is where many of the, well, where all of the harbor cruises depart. It's generally a very touristy area, but that's not all of it. I mean, locals love to come here as well on a sunny day, or even on a not so sunny day, even on pretty cold and rainy days, and enjoy the views and have a fish roll. Now this building you see on the left side is the Fischauktionshalle, or Fish Auction Hall, which was built in 1896 and was designed to regulate and centralize the fish trading at the time. Now its bold, like iron and brick construction style is pretty typical for the time, and you will see more of that in next week's video. Now we have just entered the district of Altona, which is now just a district of Hamburg, but until 1937, it was its very own city. It wasn't Hamburg at all. And at some points in history, it actually was even Danish. Now at its peak, the Fischauktionshalle would be the place where fresh North Sea catches would be auctioned off. It was mostly cod, herring and plaice, and fishermen would bring in their catch directly from the river and auction it off there. Nowadays, it's no longer a functioning auction hall, but it hosts concerts, parties, flea markets and cultural events, and it's still a popular location among locals and tourists alike for the atmosphere and the views you get there. What you see there is one of Hamburg's cruise ship terminals. In 2023, Hamburg hosted 278 ocean cruises by 51 different ships, and it was also the starting point of 8 maiden voyages. Over 1 million cruise passengers depart from Hamburg every year now. So what you saw there is one of Hamburg's cruise terminals. We have a few of them. And what you see behind me is the Costa Favolosa, about to embark from Hamburg onto a 22-day journey around Iceland and Greenland and reaching Norway and then coming back to Hamburg. This towering brick warehouse to my right is the Altonaer Kaispeicher, built in 1924. It once stored imports like coffee, cocoa, rum, grain and tobacco as part of Hamburg's bustling port trade. Fast forward to the 21st century, the building was completely modernized in 2009 and now serves exclusively as a large event space, hosting anything from galas to product launches set against panoramic views of the Elbe. While its function has changed, the industrial character remains intact. You still see original loading bays, heavy steel girders, and the unmistakably historic brick facade. It's a perfect example of how Hamburg has preserved its architectural heritage while giving it a new purpose. Still Hamburg, still the harbor, but also somehow a holiday seaside village? Welcome to Neumühlen. That large building on the left is a senior home, an upscale one of course. These boats here, they are not for tourism. In fact, they are pretty crucial to public transport in Hamburg. I will tell you more about those in another video very soon. Centuries ago, this was a village full of fishers and ship pilots. Then wealthy Hamburgers started setting up summer residences here. Then the village of Neumühlen got annexed by the city of Ottensen. Then the city of Ottensen got annexed by the city of Altona. And then Altona got annexed by Hamburg. And now we just go here when the weather is nice and we want to have a meal by the river. These neat houses are known as the Kapitänshäuser, literally captain's houses. They are exactly what they sound like. Back in the late 19th and early 20th century, this was where Hamburg's ship captains lived, just a short walk from the ships, with a front row view of the harbor they spent their lives navigating. It's easy to romanticize it today, and fair enough, look at them, but being a sea captain was tough work and dangerous. These homes weren't about status, they were about practicality. The captains could keep an eye on the river, see which ships were coming in, and be close to the maritime action. These days, the Kapitänshäuser are beautifully restored and fiercely protected. That's today's walk. I think I found this one, and see you around next time.